Hello. Today I would like to speak to you about a very interesting subject, which is what stops us from blocking, or what blocks us from attracting that beautiful love, relationship, peace, abundance, everything that we are so wanting in our lives. What is in the way? And I have prepared a small presentation for you that I will share to describe a little bit more in detail what is actually happening in our unconscious mind, and what wounds do we carry as human beings from childhood. My name is Anastasha Grace. I am a practitioner. I work with these wounds and traumas, changing the unconscious every single day. And today I would like to share it with you. So the wounds that block us from peace, love, abundance. Why is it important? Because when we know what actually is happening in our unconscious mind, we can have compassion for ourselves and we can have compassion for others. We can heal them fast. We can see the masks that have been created by those wounds, and we can stop attracting experiences that trigger that wound. If you are experiencing that your life is unjust, that you fearing rejection, and that stops you from achieving what you want, if you struggle in your relationships, if you struggle in your communication, that would be the reason. And I will show you how these wounds of rejection, abandonment, injustice, humiliation, betrayal actually show up in our life. And of course, if you carrying the wound of, say, injustice or betrayal, it's really difficult to attract money as well into your life, as just as much as attracting love. The works of these wounds and unconscious and our childhood traumas, they stem from works of many psychiatrists, starting from Sigmund Freud, and works of Alexander Lowen and Barry Walker, beautifully described in the book by Elise Bourbeau in her works, in her workshops. Just a couple of minutes about myself. I use a range of techniques in my work with clients, from emotional clearing techniques, hypnotherapy, NLP, cognitive behavioral coaching, timeline therapy. I'm certified in all of those modalities, the spiral, past life, and between lives regression. I use a lot of Jungian shadow work, and use kinesiology, body feedback to actually do the diagnostics, so to know specifically what happens for the person when they are faced with certain blocks, or they're not achieving what they want to achieve in their lives. So you can find me on anastashagrace.com, on my website, and you can ask me any questions. I do provide a free diagnostics, free consultation for the clients that want to be get to know my work. So, and just to give you an example, what happens when we actually let go of the past, we let go of the wounds, and transformations that I've seen have been incredible. Like, for example, fully recovering from stage 4 of lymphoma cancer. Other healings that I've seen in the body, like losing lots of weight, pains are going away, eczema, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, huge life changes, like leaving abusive control in marriage, and then finding beautifully deep incredible relationships. Some of my clients have been suffering from a childhood trauma for a long time, and they managed to clear that, let it go, finding love after 5 years of being single and not being able to start a relationship. Once you heal the wounds and everything that holds you, so that particular client had a very strong abandonment wound, for example. Up levels in the business, career changes in career, a whole new different communication with family and friends, like setting completely new different standards in communication with parents, and finding that healing and forgiveness. That's what happens after we work on ourselves. So let's just jump in quickly into the wounds itself. First is the wound of abandonment. As you can see, it also shows up in the body. So basically I can pick up the wound by looking at the body of the person, because a wound of abandonment shows the kind of certain softness, lacking in the tone, sagging in different parts of the body, kind of body of the victim, bulimic body. So you can pick up those signs already in the child, in just in the physicality. Where and how this wound is created, around 1 years of age, and it doesn't have to be something dramatic has happened. It's just the child, a little baby, has been feeling or has experienced as being felt abandoned, deprived of satisfaction or physical or affective needs like affection. And it can be just as simple as that mom had to go to work early and the child was looked by someone else, or someone in the family got sick and this child was given less attention. Like in my case, I do carry a wound of abandonment from the moment when my sister was born. She was born very sick, so I was sent off to live with my grandma, so my parents could look after my sister. So, and that simple moment in life locked in really deep wound of abandonment. How does it show up in the body, in the behavior? Is this strong attachments. Basically every time you feel experience like neediness in yourself, or you can see people being needy, weak, they're over dramatize drama, crying, like any kind of attachments, that's what is showing you the abandonment wound. Fear, the main fear is solitude, being alone. The fear of being alone is terrifying. Loves context, loves affection, needs attention. This is the main need for the people who have been experiencing or been activated with this wound. And just to know, make a notice, quite often we carry like two wounds are the most prominent, and the last three would be not as prominent, or they can be activated in different times in our lives. Prove me that you love me, show me that you love me. Some people do carry all 5 wounds. Some of my clients that I'm working with now carry specifically all 5 very activated, which makes makes their life a little bit more difficult. Second wound is the wound of rejection. Is when we feel rejection, our presence has been refused. And again, very simple life situations in childhood, say parents wanted a girl instead of the boy, or parents didn't have enough attention to child when the child was little, or too many kids, or attention was going elsewhere. And again, you can see in the body is in the physics of, it's the body of withdrawal. So there will be some withdrawal signs in the physical body. It's like lacking tone, and it's like body wants to disappear. Is escape, withdraw, is leaking or missing some parts, like no buttocks, no chin, no breasts, small breasts. You can find those aspects, and when I work with clients, we go deeper into this information. The behavior you can pick up your behaviors when you are feeling like withdrawing from this life. You don't want to participate too much in this life. You don't want to invest yourself. You want to escape. Quite often the escaping in alcohol or drugs, in spirituality, meditation could be also one way of escaping and removing yourself from this life. Feeling misunderstood, feeling out of place in this life, of constantly feeling like rejected. Rejection is more like, I'm not accepted for who I am or how I am. And it's the body of anorexic, so quite skinny body. The biggest need is belonging, and the fear of panic, fear of anxiety attacks. That would be in the psyche of this person. And of self-worth. A lot of self-worth lies in this. Like the person who carries the wound of rejection believes that he or she is not worth it, not worth of success, not worth of money, not worth of love. And quite often the behavior would be to escape or to pretend that, oh, I don't need it anyway. I'm just going to live this different lifestyle. Third wound is injustice. Injustice is stemming from a time where we didn't feel appreciated or our rights weren't respected, and locks in a child psyche from the age of 3 to 5. It's like some parents didn't help or supported to integrate the child's individuality, were maybe too critical, they were too demanding, too cold-hearted, too unaffectionate, perfectionist parents. And that looked in as a wound as injustice, and masked as rigidity, basically being rigid, being fixed, and it shows up in the body as being really straight, very fixed, very proportional, shoulders straight, rigid movements, very rarely weight problems or got good physique, basically because of that stillness, this rigidity, tightness. This behavior will show up as being harsh on yourself, very perfectionist, kind of seeing injustice everywhere, fighting through injustice, controlling yourself, controlling others, controlling your diet. Very hard to be sensitive, and it does not accept critics, but quite critical, obviously, to themselves and to others. A little bit of a black and white attention to life, being a little bit fixed. The biggest fear is coldness. Is like this person is, because it looks in as the fear of perceived coldness from parents. So they don't really want to be cold. They really want to be accepted. They really want to be mixed up with people. Love to look sexy, love attention, love to be kind of there with people, but quite often perceived as cold or perceived as rigid, perceived controlling, could be quite abrupt or stiff voice, stiff judgments. Yeah, a lot of in communication will show up through words like "it's not fair," "that's not how it's supposed to be," judgment or envious of situation of other people. What this person really needs is freedom to be themselves, letting them out from that prison of judging, criticizing themselves, and letting themselves out to become softer and become warmer, because this coldness comes from cutting themselves off from their senses and keeping people at a distance. Too many demands, too perfectionist. The final wound is betrayal. Betrayal is the injury that comes from the age from 2 and 4, when the sexuality is being developed, and it looks in like a promise has been broken. And again, in our childhood, it could be very simple situations like mom promised and didn't get it for me, or self-centered parents, the parents that control, demand, manipulate, which is quite a common way of being, especially for the mother-son situation, where mom kind of demands from child and says something like, if you love me, you will do this. Mommy is going to get upset. Oh, you're hurting mommy by doing this, by having this behavior. And this, you can see that mask is control. So out of the betrayal wound, the controlling identity will be born, in basically meaning that you want to dominate, you want to control the situation. There is very less trust, seductive, but not really connecting. And you can give the responsibility to this person. They're very responsible, however, quite controlling, could be manipulative, very skeptical. Trust is a huge issue for these people, and not familiar with vulnerability. Like, vulnerability is a huge weakness for them, as they perceive it as a huge weakness. So opening up is difficult to have authority or give authority to someone, like have trouble with authority. Want to know everything, want to control everything. The biggest fear is to fail, to drop the ball, to lose control of the situation. And this need, they are pulling by this need of confidence. I need to rely on myself. I cannot delegate. I cannot trust into someone else. It only can be done by me and no one else. And the final one is humiliation. The wound of humiliation is around between the age of 1 and 3, when the body functions are developing, like going to the toilet, being clean, sleep through the night, without wetting yourself, eating alone. And here the wound of humiliation quite often looks in childhood, when they belittled or degraded. Oh, you little piglet, why did you do that? You spilled it again. Kids mess up, and the judgments of the parents can create this wound of humiliation. As a mask, it becomes a masochism. So a person that punishes themselves so others cannot punish me, and quite often seen, as you can see in the body in the picture, as an overweight person, by hiding, by protecting, and also just feeding yourself or making yourself not look good. So this is kind of like self-punishment, self-humiliation, and that's how our wounds work. When the wound is there, your behavior is going to be a kind of covering up that wound, so you don't actually see it. And the biggest fear is freedom, because they feel they don't deserve it, and they are really afraid to be seen as selfish or heartless, and they all kind of try to be nice people and service others, afraid to be judged by appearance. Quite often take too much on their shoulders. This is where you're serving others and putting others people's first that kind of behavior will be showing up from the humiliation wound. And also a huge fear, obviously, to be humiliated, to be judged. So that is something I would like to show you. Is my new program is Fall in Love with Life program, where I am taking people through 6 weeks of diving deep into the wound, kind of deconstructing it and healing it as in the process, and also noticing it in your own communication, in your own ways of being, and how you have been before and how you are now, so you don't pass it on to your children, so you can free up your children from your wounds. You can free up your relationships from that wounds, because any kind of misunderstanding or conflict comes out of the triggering of one or many or few wounds at the same time. Usually it's rejection or humiliation or betrayal. Finding it, seeing that, clearing, healing it will allow you to trust more in life. It will allow you to express yourself more freely. You will see that those masks are just masks, and they can be removed, so you can tap into who you are truly in this life, so you can come out into that full self-expression, into the world, free of fear of rejection, free from fear of judgment. You can create that beautiful relationship in your life. You can attract a partner who will not be matching your wounds, but who will be actually nourishing your life and nourishing your experience in this life. Please do contact me. I am offering a free diagnostics if you want to tap into a little bit deeper and test for yourself what is going on for you. I will post a link with my calendar, and also feel free to ask me any questions. The program will run for 6 weeks and will consist of educational live streams plus a session with me, or where we actually dive into specific clearing and removing those wounds from your psyche. Thanks so much for watching and being with me, and much love to you. Bye.